We are just less than 20 hours away from the World Cup semi-final between India and New Zealand, as well as between Australia and South Africa that will happen at the Eden Gardens. Both will be cracking contests, and the 2023 World Cup now has reached a crescendo wherein you are going to see glory and disappointment of the highest level. But there is the factor of Mother Nature. What if rain has a say in the semi-final? What is going to happen? What are the ICC playing conditions which dictate the rain situation? There is a new super over rule also in place now, which has been there ever since the farce of the boundary count in 2019. But now you've got special ICC rules because India and New Zealand might be celebrating the fact that they are playing in Mumbai, but Australia and South Africa may necessarily not be celebrating the fact that they are playing in Kolkata. Why? The weather at the Wankhede Stadium, India versus New Zealand, at that time the weather in Mumbai is clear. No chance of rain whatsoever. But Australia versus South Africa match in Eden Gardens, both on the 16th and the 17th, might be impacted by rain because there is a cyclonic development in Odisha and that will also impact West Bengal, especially Kolkata. Now, if November 16th and November 17th, both days are impacted by rain in the second semi-final, what's going to happen? These are the special provisions that are there in the ICC playing conditions for the World Cup semi-final. Before I come to the playing conditions, supposing not rain, the super over comes into play in the India-New Zealand encounter. If the match is a tie, what is going to happen? So, in essence now, in the semi-finals, you are going to see three things. Number one, there will be a provision for a reserve day, both the semi-finals and the finals. Second, there will be longer extra time in case of weather or other disruptions. So, what we initially thought that 4.5 hours or 4 hours later, you will not start to see a cutoff time. Maybe the cutoff time will be extended for a 20 over game. The ICC will make everything possible to ensure that the match happens on the same day, and if possible even on the reserve day if the situation demands. So, the cutoff time, which was normally 7:30 for a 20 over game, might now be extended to 8:30 or 9 because they would want to finish the match on the same day. Tweaking of the super over rule. Now, what is this tweaking in the super over rule? It's been there in the media quite often, but let me crystallize it to you and give it what happens. In the case of a super over, the match goes on, and if it's a tie, you go to a super over. But what if even the super over is tied? Like what happened in the New Zealand versus England match at Lord's in the final. You are not going to have the boundary count. Simply, it is going to be subsequent unlimited super overs will be played until there is a winner. Essentially, what happened in the Mumbai Indians versus Punjab Kings encounter in IPL 2020. One super over was tied, the second super over produced a result. Even that is tied, you continue playing the super over unless and until you have a clear-cut winner. Super over shall start 5 minutes after the regular match ends. So, after the match ends, if it's a tie, you're going to have the same super over conditions 5 minutes after the end of the match. Umpires will be at the same end. You are also going to get one review. One review will also come in that super over. So, unlimited super overs until there is a clear-cut winner. No boundary count. Now, for the rain. Now remember, Kolkata has got a rain problem from 16th and 17th. That's the day both the semi-final of the second and the reserve day are in operation. What happens? If a minimum of 20 overs per side is not possible across the 2 days and the match is a no result, the team that finished higher in the group stage will progress to the final. Quite simply, it means if India-New Zealand match is washed out both days, India will go through to the final. If South Africa, Australia, the match is washed off on both the days, then South Africa will go through because they finished second in the table. So essentially, where you finished in the points table, if there is rain, then you are going to see a winner. That is, on top of the standings, whoever finished higher, they will go through. Now, what is the resumption? Supposing if the rain comes on day one and more than 20 overs have been bowled, what happens then? As you saw in the India-New Zealand second semi-final that happened in 2019, the point at which it was stopped, it will resume on the second day. If there is no toss possible even on day one, day two you will see the toss. And where, if you have to look at it, it will start from scratch. No overs will be lost. So day one, no overs will be lost. Day two, you will see a resumption. Just like India-Pakistan, the Asia Cup also, where there was a reserve day only for that game. So, what point the match stopped, it will resume from that particular moment once it starts. But if the game is washed out totally, then the team that finished higher in the points table, they go through. What if the final is washed out? There is a reserve day provision on 20th. 19th November and 20th November is the reserve day for the final. If on both days, 19th and 20th, there is heavy rain, you cannot get a winner in Ahmedabad, joint winners. For the first time in the history of the World Cup, you're going to see joint winners. And if you have to look at it, there is good news. You may not see any kind of weather interruptions in Ahmedabad because on 19th and even on the 20th, the weather is clear in Ahmedabad. So, you are not going to see a reserve day activation in that case as well. So, in case, freak chance, if the game is washed out in Ahmedabad on the finals day, both teams will be declared joint winners. So, there is no problem with the weather in Mumbai. You are going to see a full game. But in Kolkata, there is a problem. So, whoever wins the game in Mumbai, if it's India and if rain washes out both days in Kolkata, you will see an India-South Africa final. If Australia beat them, then you will see an India-Australia final. If New Zealand do the unthinkable and beat India, then you could very well see a New Zealand-South Africa final also. For the first time ever in history, New Zealand will take on South Africa in a World Cup final. So, these are the playing conditions that you got. Super over, you will keep on playing super overs if it is a tie until there is a concrete winner. If the first super over is tied, you will play another super over. If that second super over is tied, you will keep on playing until there is a definite winner. In the case of rain, both days if it's washed out, you are going to see India and South Africa go through as the finalists. That is the World Cup situation we are having. Only 3 games remain. Tomorrow, India versus New Zealand. Clear skies, no problem at Wankhede. We hope it's a cracking contest to say the least. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on Sports Today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.